All right. Welcome to the 38th episode of the Revolutionary Code, where we bring you the truth about how government and politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people, Black people here in America. I am your host, Brother Tamani Mwandani out of Houston, Texas. I am the direct revolutionary product of one Cardinal and Bayou Chewy out of the Shrines of the Black Madonna, and the indirect revolutionary product of one Albert B. Clegg, African name, Jeramogi Bebe Ajiman, the father of liberation theology and the founder of the Shrines of the Black Madonna. I'm also the founder of the Black Gold Nation movement. My co-host, the National Director of Political Strategy and Implementation for the Black Gold Nation movement, and the chairman of LACE, Liberation Advocates for Community Empowerment, the intellectual gangster, corporate grassroots revolutionary, and master domino assassin from Shreveport, Louisiana, aka The Boot, Brother Craig B. Lee. Brother Craig, how you doing this evening?
I am doing ire and hype to this article that I sent to you the other day. And when you said, let's make this the topic for tonight, I was like, absolutely. I'm hyped.
Excellent, excellent. Before we get started, let me give you some information, everybody, some information really quickly about the Black Gold Nation movement. Our ultimate goal is to put ourselves, Black people, melanated Black people, in a position by which we can own and or control the environment where we live. Because when we don't own it or control it, when other people own it or control it, or when other people control or own any aspect of it, any system within the environment, be it political, economic, educational, we always find ourselves on the losing end and at the bottom. So since we no longer want to be in the losing position, since we no longer want to be at the bottom, we believe that it is our duty, it is our responsibility, and most certainly by any means necessary, we absolutely must be in control of the space where we live. So Brother Craig and I are not just here to inform and educate. We are here to try to get you to do something. We want to inform, educate, motivate, mobilize, organize, and build. Every single thing we do is about bringing our people together to find the right people, because we won't be able to build what we need to build for the next generation and every generation to follow if we don't have Black people who are ready, willing, and able to put in on this thing. So that's why we're here. And tonight's show title, of course, ties into all of that. Excuse me, and the title is How the Democrats Pimped and Pimp Slapped Black Lives Matter. Welcome to the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy and racism. Tonight's show is sponsored by Regeneration 180's Regeneration Freedom School, the Black Gold Nation movement's education, youth education model and program. With the Black Gold Nation movement, we fully understand that we can't build anything without knowledgeable, capable, and willing youth. And Sister Jennifer Higgins, the Black Gold Nation's National Youth Education Division Director, is doing just that with her Critical Thinkers Club for young Black children ages 6 through 9 and 10 through 13 on Saturdays and Sundays. The purpose of the Critical Thinkers Club is to teach our children, of course, how to think critically, and most importantly, how to use those skills as a critical thinker. So to learn more about Regeneration 180's, Regeneration Freedom School, and the Critical Thinkers Club, please visit her website at www.regeneration180.org/teen-self-work. And I will, of course, put that link in the chat. So that link is there. And before we get started, let me say the title again, and then I'm gonna run through some quick definitions to make sure I have everybody on the right page, and then we'll jump into this article. So again, the title of tonight's show is How the Democrats Pimped and Pimp Slapped Black Lives Matter. Welcome to the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy and racism. So let's get into this thing. I'll say, so Brother Craig, I have a high level definition of the philosophy. I'm going to run through this real quick. You let me know if I am right. And I'm saying this from the point of a person who believes that this is their philosophy. I and those like me, the plutocrats, the 1%, the richest of the rich, are bound by no earthly power, entity, or energy. I and those like me are gods, and it is our right to control everything on this earth and in outer space. Would you agree with that philosophy?
Got it right on point.
Excellent. The system, the matrix, the illusion of life as we know it, it's meant to take, the matrix, the illusion of life as we know it, that's meant to take, keep, maintain, and expand upon power by any means necessary by those in power.
That sounds pretty solid.
All right, the game, getting the world to do my bidding and to succumb to my will without even knowing it, to do everything I can to take, keep, maintain, and expand upon power, which is, quote, the ability to define reality and make others respond to my definition as though it were their own. Correct?
Knocked it out the park.
Amen. Last one, capitalistic white supremacy and racism. A diabolical economic system based on the creation, maintenance, and expansion of a permanent underclass.
Absolutely.
All right. So I think it's clear, and hopefully everyone else will see it as we get into this article, as we go through it, that the leaders, the founders of Black Lives Matter did not, and probably do not, understand the philosophy, the system, and the game of capitalistic white supremacy and racism. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, it's not a probably.
It's-
Damn thing.
Without a doubt. All right, so I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see the article, and I did place the link to the article in the chat, so it's there as well. So give me a quick second to share my screen so we can zoom through this thing, or not really zoom through, so we can go through it. And we can talk about how this system works and how it's obvious that Black Lives Matter didn't have a clue. And of course, how most of our people don't have a clue. So I'm sharing my screen. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Cool. All right, one more person to confirm they can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Cool. What's up, Sister Mary? All right. So, Brother Craig, I'm going to read this thing paragraph by paragraph, and you stop me when we get to a critical point and explain what's happening in that particular paragraph. Okay?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, from the top, Black Lives Matter thought they had Washington's ear. Now they feel.
Let's stop right there.
All right.
The key word in this
Thought.
The root word of thought is think. And thinking is an intellectual exercise that you have to train to do. People just don't know how to think. So the operative word for this article is Black Lives Matter believe. They believe. And what happens when you don't think before you believe, you now get trapped into a position that you have not permanently fully vetted or analyzed or dissected. And so now, for someone like myself, who has 60 PhDs in niggerology, niggermetrics, and roasters, crackatology, cracker roasters, to now teach them, that's where their cognitive dissonance would come in. And so we need to focus quickly on that term, because that's what the real deal is. They believed it, and that's how they ended up getting pimped and played.
That's right. That's right. And now they feel shut out. Quote, it was grassroots and base building organizations that put our issues at the forefront. That's who delivered this win to the administration. All right, so the article, nearly 1 year after protests that rocked America's cities and helped propel Joe Biden's ride to the White House, Black Lives Matter activists aren't the Washington power players they envision themselves to be.
Okay, we can stop right there. The key there is the last part of that sentence. Black Lives Matter activists aren't Washington power players like they envision themselves to be. First and foremost, you need to understand who Black Lives Matter is. They're a group of homosexuals who tricked grassroots Black folk and other ethnic groups into believing that they were advocating for Black folks, when in all actuality, they were advocating for homosexuality, transgenderism. And the sad part is, I exposed them back in 2013 when they first hit. But the sad part is, Negroes wouldn't even go to their website and read, because it was
right
right
there.
on
Yeah, it's right there.
the website.
Yeah.
So, but that's the deal. So the question that I have for you and everybody else, and it's always asked this question: can you build a structure from the roof down? Have I not answered that question for about 3 years, Brother Tomas?
At least.
Have I changed up anything that I've been telling you for 3 goddamn years?
No, sir, you have not.
So the question to everybody on the phone call: can you build a structure, residential or commercial, from the goddamn roof down? I need some response.
All right, we got in the chat, Brother Ken says, heck to the no.
All right.
Brother Naru says, of course not.
All right.
Sister Mary said, nope.
Absolutely not.
All right, there we go. All right.
All right. Keep on going, Bertie.
Cool. The Biden administration has neither the Biden administration has not granted them a meeting, has neither granted them a meeting months after they requested one, nor have any names of activists been listed in White House visitor logs.
Stop! Stop! Politico went so goddamn deep, they went into the damn visitor log. We don't even want your ass visiting the goddamn White House. So if you damn sure ain't visiting, you ain't gonna be invited to no goddamn meeting. Okay? That's free sage pimp. And what do I define the word pimp? Psychotic influencers and manipulators of people. And Joe Biden and the Democrats, they do it oh so well. And who was the number one pimp in this theatrical play?
The Democratic Party or Joe Biden? Which one?
Who was it? Who was the number? In this particular play, for Joe Biden to win office, and the Democrats used the pimp game to just excellent.
Black people?
Kamala Harris?
Hell no.
Black people?
Hell no.
Well, Donald Trump. Oh, Donald Trump. well, he is a player in the game that they use to play both sides. So how was he being pimped by them?
No, he wasn't being pimped. He was being used. He was used by the Democratic Party to pimp the Negroes.
He was a prostitute?
That's how they ran the Negroes to Biden. You see? So if Donald Trump doesn't do his boogeyman routine, Biden can't win.
Right.
And he still didn't really win, even though he did the boogeyman routine, because the Democrats had to steal the race, because he did such a great job. He emboldened so many white folks to come out from under their rock. But he was a double agent for the Democratic Party in this pimp game that they ran on the Negro community. But these Negroes have not been granted any meeting, but they needed Trump in order to get Biden in, and they needed the Negroes to push the whole dynamic of the so-called public safety policy. Now, let me ask one more question before you go to the next sentence. Another question: what's the largest group of people who get murdered in the United States by police every year?
White people. You muted. White people.
Who else? What's the number one group that get murdered every year?
White people.
I'm asking anybody else though.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
anybody?
I agree. White people.
Okay, good go.
Brother Ken says white people. Naru says poor white folks.
But what does the damn media show you?
Coloreds.
Exactly. I want y'all to see the pimp game now.
Yeah.
Okay, keep
That's
on
the
going.
narrative.
That's the narrative.
That's the narrative. Okay, those logs, it should be noted, just cover the first couple of weeks in office. Their leaders are absent from police reform discussions on the Hill. And their legislative proposal, the BREATHE Act, which codifies the reallocation of funds from law enforcement to communities of color, has yet to catch on outside of a small circle of progressives in Congress, including Democrats Ayanna Pressley and Rashida Tlaib, who have backed it.
Now let's stop right there. So the narrative was set that everything is bad about policing and the Negroes getting killed, but they don't never tell you that the white folks are getting killed.
That's right.
The white folks to remain loyal to law enforcement. All right. So now what do we have? The discussions that they led. They're not even included in the goddamn discussion. And then this whole foolishness about defund. This is the most asinine premise that you're going to take money from the police and give it to goddamn social workers. So the damn police don't make a call to a damn social worker when a crazy ass person has a damn gun or a knife and they gonna come talk to goddamn person. Like, this is the most asinine foolishness. But these are the games that have actually been played because they position this police reform as the #1 issue for Negroes. Not goddamn business development, not goddamn education, not anything as it relates to the substantive aspects of improving our overall quality of life, but law enforcement. And they ask not even at the table. Now, lastly, Ayanna Pressley and Rashida Tlaib, the reason that they're supporting it, because they know goddamn well that none of this is going to ever pass in Congress. So these immature people put these folks in office, and now, to money, a congressperson, what's their term in office?
2 years.
So they just won. So guess what they about to get ready to start doing in the next few months?
Raising money, getting ready to run again.
So now you just string the ignorant people along, and that's why I keep on telling folks you can't build a house or a commercial structure from the roof down. You have no political clout because you have no positions at the local and the state level, so ain't nobody gonna listen to your ass. Keep on going.
That's right. The issues that brought Black activists into the streets and the national spotlight have not gone away. Far from it. Police continue to kill Black and Latino Americans at higher rates than the white Americans. Since November, 47 state legislators have proposed to pass bills that effectively limit access to the ballot for low-income Black and Latino voters.
All right, now stop. So that part is true at the first part of that, but they have no clout. And notice higher rate. See, you got to understand, higher rate, but there are more white folks. The number is greater for white folks. Somebody told me, well, Craig, you got to understand that there are more white folks than Black folks in America. That's why more white folks get killed. Nah, bruh. So you can't use that argument because the media don't show you no white folks getting killed at all.
Right.
So they got you believing that the majority of people who are getting killed, the numerical majority, are Black. Statistically, that's true only because we represent a small percentage of the United States population. As a matter of fact, we're the third largest population behind the Latinos, but #1 is white. So based on the premise that the white folks are only killing Negroes, hey man, I mean, why would any white person get killed? Based on the premise that they're selling us. But we know that that's not the case. But I just wanted you to make sure that you understand in this article, they do hit on the rate of that. All right.
Since November, 47 state legislators have proposed or passed bills that effectively limit access to the ballot for low-income Black and Latino voters.
Exactly.
And that's heavy because the problem hadn't gone away, and the power that you need, Black people, Latino people, to change it, we're gonna go after that because that's how you can change it.
So you did all this complaining around a non-issue that ain't never going to be passed, and now the white folks say, wait a minute, let's don't change these laws because their ass might figure out how to now leverage some power for some real legislation. Keep on going, man.
And a growing number of Republican-led legislators have passed bills limiting protesters' rights and absolving those who antagonize or harm them.
Come on. But wait a minute. I thought you could say whatever the hell you want to in America. I got my First Amendment rights. I can do whatever I want to. You're a goddamn lie. and they got you believing this foolishness, and now you're getting your crazy ass out of here doing all this foolishness, and now you're gonna get locked up, and still ain't nothing gonna happen, and you really believe that you're fighting for a revolution. You ain't fighting for a goddamn.
And you know, Brother Craig, that's why I wanted to go through this article, because this article lays out a lot of information, man. And this paragraph is heavy, because the paragraph is saying the problems haven't gone away. They still exist. The only thing you can do to change them is by voting, and we're going to limit your ability to change them. And if you try to protest what we're doing, you're going to get penalized.
Exactly.
And the people that harm you as you're protesting, we're not going to do anything to them.
Exactly. But yet the crazy ass Negro will sit and tell you that their damn vote don't matter. If the goddamn vote didn't matter, why would they go to all of these links to stop your punk ass from voting?
Yes, sir.
They put it on paper that it's a government of the people, for the people, by the people. But they prevent you from realizing that reality, so they create all of the distractions through the entertainment industry, sports entertainment, television entertainment, movie entertainment, dance entertainment, food entertainment, all the entertainment dynamics, then all of the other sexuality issues, all of the church things. So you don't know which way to goddamn go. And then they create the whole dynamic, because plutocracy says what? Somebody, it's a government of what?
By corporations, for corporations, by for corporations. Three of them in there.
It's a government of corporations.
Corporations, by corporations, for corporations.
But on paper, it says for the people, by the people, of the people.
Right.
See, so it's all a game. And if you don't understand the game, you're going to always get it.
Now, leading Black activists say those issues aren't getting the hearing they deserve.
Oh, really? 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 Now, what is this a focus on? Idealism and romanticism versus what, Brother Tamani?
Realism.
Exactly. We need to get our issue heard. We should be heard. We should be heard. Joe Biden said, carry your head back to the chat. We ain't got time for you. Keep on going, man.
Quote, it was grassroots and base building organizations that put our issues at the forefront. That's who delivered this win to the administration, said Amra Enyia, E-N-Y-I-A, policy director for the Movement for Black Lives. At minimum, those folks should be given an audience.
Wait a minute. Now, you know what I put underline that last sentence? Sheer stupidity. At a minimum, we should at least be heard. Now they're partially correct that all of these false narratives led the movement. That's partially correct. But who actually delivered this win for the administration?
Black voters.
No. Who actually delivered this win for the Biden administration? I need somebody to give me the answer. Who won this? Who won this?
It wasn't Black women?
Donald Trump. Donald Trump. I'm getting you all to think. Donald Trump won the race as the double agent. So the Negroes with the false narratives, now they leverage the Negro vote based on Donald Trump. They needed a stimulus. Donald Trump was the stimulus. Mm-hmm. If it were not for Donald Trump, Biden couldn't win. If Trump had just dialed it back 50%.
A little bit. Yep, a little bit. Yeah, and unfortunately, Donald Trump did his job too well. All right. Part of the disconnect may be the cultural gap between activists, for whom justice is an absolute but attainable ideal, and politicians and politicians who deal with the messy realities.
Messy what?
Realities.
Messy what?
Realities of governing, forging compromise, and accepting incremental wins.
All right,
Jesus
stop right
Lord.
here. What have I been telling your ass for 3 years? Eliminate idealism and romanticism and embrace what?
Realism.
And truth.
And truth.
Truth, realism, fact, and goddamn logic. But the Negro wants to be dealing with what? Absolute, and they put attainable ideas. No, sir. Not no damn attainable, unattainable ideas. That's why I'm always talking about idealism, fictionalism, romanticism. When you don't know how to think and you're not operating with spirituality and right culture, you're operating based on irrational emotionalism. And irrational emotionalism gets you caught up into all these goddamn Little Red Riding Hood fairy tales. All these goddamn Janet and Mark fairy tales. While they are dealing with reality, you're dealing with fairy tales, how you desire for it to be. So when you ask the majority of people in our community who read, and the majority of them are females, guess what kind of reading material they read? Fiction.
Fiction.
They do not read nonfiction for the most part.
Yep.
So it's all based on how you see the world. See the world. They listen to your white boy down there in Houston. What's his name? In Lakewood.
Oh, Joel Osteen.
Oh, the Lord loves you. All that you would have it. Love, love, love. But the reality is gangsterism. That's what the reality is. Keep on going.
This next sentence, Lord have mercy. Many BLM leaders, for instance, push to, quote, defund city police departments, only to find little appetite among lawmakers for what was widely seen as a politically suicidal position.
They was with them. But they told them that they was rolling with them. We're going to radically transform, change the police department. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And then they got caught up and they say, damn, if we do that, we were just playing. Mm-hmm. We just had to tell the Negroes what they wanted to do.
On Sunday, House Majority Whip Jim Clyburn signaled that he was willing to water down qualified immunity, which currently shields officers from civil liability for misdeeds in order to pass some sort of policing reform legislation. Jesus.
Now, the damn qualified immunity was supposed to be the big goddamn thing.
That was supposed to be it.
Okay.
Qualified immunity, yep.
Now, look how gangster this is. My good partner, Cedric Richmond, okay, my homeboy, who was pushing the whole qualified immunity deal, guess where he's at now? Inside the White House. Mm-hmm. Well, he ain't saying not a goddamn thing.
Nothing.
Because he wants that check. Okay? He my partner, but he wants that check. Okay? So they're gonna water this down. Because look at what Clyburn about to tell you in the next paragraph. It's a pimp game. Keep on going.
Quote, well, I will never sacrifice good on the altar of perfect. I just won't do it. Clyburn told CNN, I just won't do that. Sometimes you have to compromise.
So look at what he said. Good for perfect. He know goddamn well this is not an issue between good versus perfect. It's an issue of logic versus illogic. And so at the end of the day, he now changes this up. Is it logical to now say you're going to water down to one thing that can now really start to make an inroad? Right. But now we got to now understand what the basis of law enforcement is. So law enforcement is not here to serve the needs of the Negro, it's here to serve the needs of the white folks.
That's right.
And so you got to be able to keep these Negroes in check. And so they know, some of them going to get a little irate and kill a few people, but it's all a part of the game. So Clyburn is letting you know this is the game. So they're going to lie to you to get your hopes up, and now you get played, and then they let you know what the real game is, and that is, hey, hey, we got to compromise with the folks who we say are evil.
For those non-melanated persons that they care about, for them, it's serve and protect. For us, it's law and order. Completely different relationship. Completely.
Yes, sir.
So back to the article. So while at the outset of the new Congress, movement leaders stressed they wanted to play a role in enacting policy change and insisted they weren't interested in empty rhetoric or piecemeal reforms. They're now reassessing that approach as frustration sets in. and hits the pimp slapping.
The pimp game, bro. That's why one of the greatest lies that has ever been told in our community, and you all will remember this lie from childhood. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. Use a goddamn.
That's right, the power of the pen, man.
The power of the pen and the power of the word. And I feel so sorry for our people because they want to believe in the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny so goddamn bad.
Right.
People
now, where there was once more momentum behind the push for sweeping systemic change, bureaucratic policy hurdles and political calculations have pushed activists from the movement for Black Lives back to the sidelines. Let me say that again. Bureaucratic policy hurdles and political calculations. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of Frank Underwood on House of Cards.
Yes, sir, bro.
He is forever politically calculating.
Yes, sir, bro. Yes, sir, bro. And so this is why I tell all of you, in all seriousness, I've had to get quiet over the past few years because, trying to teach the political calculations, the science, and the art of doing this for our people, trying to help some young folks get this. I kind of stepped outside of my typical game plan, where I only do this like E.F. Hutton, one person at a time. And I say, I'm going to engage a group of young folks, but they too special ed. They too special ed. And so I've had to get quiet because the idealism and the romanticism, I felt like I was Moses after he killed that goddamn so-called Egyptian to save his Hebrew brother. And the goddamn Hebrew brother was about to snitch on him. And he said, let me get my ass from around your head. That's because that sentence there, that the rest of that sentence, bureaucratic policy hurdles. See, unless you're in this game, y'all, unless you're an insider, unless you are really an intellectual gangster, ain't no way in the hell you're gonna understand the political hurdles. And even if you're there, you got to be able to know how to think on a very, very, very high level. And then the political calculations, they ain't just calculated for today or tomorrow. They may be calculated 20, 40, 50, 100
yes, sir.
years down the road. They do short-term, mid-range, and long-range planning in their political calculations. And here we are trying to figure out how we can get to the damn house. We don't even understand how none of this works. You see what I'm saying? This is not no goddamn tic-tac-toe.
And Brother Ken says chess, not checkers.
Okay.
I'm gonna read that one again. Now, where there was once more momentum behind the push for sweeping systemic change, bureaucratic policy hurdles and political calculations have pushed activists with the movement for Black Lives back to the sidelines. While this has forced activists to refocus their efforts, they maintain that their organizing is multidimensional, and they've amassed a sizable war chest. The Black Lives Matter Global Network, armed with more than 90 million in fundraising following last summer's protests, has channeled those funds into initiatives and campaigns. One, launched in February, targets police unions and police budgets, efforts that have the most heft at state and local levels.
All right, now stop right there. First off, there ain't a mask no goddamn $90 million.
That's right.
White folks, the white folks have amassed the 90 the goddamn
And they control
million.
it. And they control
And they
it.
control the goddamn money. And it's the Democratic PAC that controls the goddamn money. That's number one. Number two, yet again, they tricked the Negro into believing that this police thing is our main issue. Now, what could happen with $90 million strategically, or really it's probably more like 200 million or 300 million. They're just telling you 90.
Right.
But what would happen with $200-300 million if it was strategically placed into business development, into all kinds of unique programs that are tangible, versus talking about some damn police unions? Right, that'll never gonna happen, man.
Right.
If you understand how this works at the local and state level, that ain't never gonna happen. Because the police union is connected with the goddamn sheriff's union. They got the whole law enforcement union. And guess who they're all clicked up with?
The DA.
The attorney union. Okay,
And the judges. And we talked about that on the last show. How they're all clicked up.
And that is what you call the bureaucratic policy hurdle. All this is interconnected, brother.
Yep.
And so they sell this to people who don't know, and then the people who were out there who they already got compromised based on their sexual deviancy, they now connect this whole thing and they neutralize them with a check. That's how it works.
They've also used that funding to publicize their assessment of Joe Biden's performance as he passed the 100-day mark. A recent advertisement paid for by the Black Lives Matter Global Network criticized the administration's handling of police reform. The ad, I know, right? The ad, which aired in Washington, D.C. for a limited time, specifically condemns what they see as Biden's lack of action on the transfer of Biden's lack of action on the transfer of military equipment to law enforcement.
Now, let's understand. Joe Biden is one of the principal entities who wrote the 1994 crime bill.
That's right.
Do you really believe Joe Biden give a goddamn about a damn attack ad?
Nope.
Now, why would an attack ad even be considered? You're gonna attack him for what? The Negroes ain't gonna never damn vote Republican, and you're too stupid to now focus on establishing a third party. So you're attacking them to do what? This is what I had to figure out when the whole Trayvon Martin thing was going on. I was like, what do these Negroes want?
You're trying to shame him into doing right.
So then, okay, you go to Mike Brown and they tear the damn city up, but your ass ain't voting, but you 75% of the damn city, but you got a white mayor, all white city council, but you burning your own damn city up. I said, what do these Negroes want? Tamir Rice, what they want? Eric Garner, what they want? Freddie Gray, Baltimore. It finally dawned on me when they burn up Baltimore. What do they want? Mary, you up in Baltimore. I figured it out what them Negroes want after burn up Baltimore. They want the white folks to love them.
That's right.
They want the white man to change. And guess what, Sister Mary? It ain't never gonna happen. It ain't never gonna happen. Keep on going.
As quiet as it's kept, our people suffer from Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
For real. We are the people who elected Biden, the ad says. It's time he started acting like it. When asked for comment, a White House official did not specify where talks with movement leaders stand. The official, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to anonymity to candidly explain the administration's stance, said there is an open and ongoing dialogue between senior White House officials and leaders of the movement, as well as with legacy civil rights organizations. I'm not sure if that's true, based on how the article started. and conversations with legacy civil rights organizations, that's not going to change anything because that's not what they're about.
Now, think about it. So we talking to them, but your ass can't come to the White House. So we playing games with you behind the scenes, but you got to understand. See, if you come to the White House, then the white folks ain't gonna vote for it. Well, who's on your team? Is it us or is it the racist white folks? I thought y'all was with us against the racist white folks. Yeah, but see, what I was saying was, brother.
And if it was truth and righteous, you wouldn't have to speak anonymously. You'd be able to speak the truth.
Exactly.
Movement leaders also met with members of Congress early in the planning stages for the Justice and Policing Act last summer and asked for a platform to outline the BREATHE Act. Several activists said. However, even those they view as allies on the Hill, including Representative Karen Bass, who is spearheading police reform discussions, were unwilling to diverge from the bill's core tenets.
So even their goddamn allies, who they believe in as their damn allies, is pimping their ass because what Clyburn them telling their ass, look, we ain't gonna let you play us like we the bad guys, and y'all really advocate because you know the goddamn thing ain't gonna pass anyway. So you gonna be totally united with us, or we gonna take the goddamn funding, or we gonna put somebody to run against your punk ass. So their allies say, hey man, we can't go with you. I'm with you, but I ain't really with you. You know, I'm kind of sort of with you, you know, but we gonna get something done.
Yeah, we're gonna do something.
What else you gonna do? What you gonna go with the dirty, nasty Republicans? they don't love you like we do. We love you. Keep on.
As members of Congress continue to hash out their bill to pass with enough Democrats and Republicans in the Senate, activists say they have not been included in any of those discussions.
No, not with the good Christian Democrats. No, they love you. Craig, would you please switch from being an independent and become a Democrat? We love you. Hell no. God damn it. Hell no. Keep on going.
Melina Abdullah, a co-founder of Black Lives Matter Los Angeles and one of the movement's first lead organizers, said movement leaders have not abandoned their national advocacy work. She pointed to a number of allies in Congress like Bass, with whom she and other leaders have had critical conversations in the past about the movement's role in policymaking.
Stop right there. Movement role in policy making. You ain't got no goddamn role in no policy making. And I just put there sad fairy tales.
That's right.
Fairy tales, bruh. Fairy tales, bruh. You ain't got no clout. You ain't got no juice. Keep on going.
And in this next paragraph, simply you can put a red line through this critical conversations part. One of the things we're looking at moving forward is having a better relationship with lawmakers, Abdullah said. So rather than lawmakers making laws without the input of a movement that gives traction to them, we want to do a better job of coordinating on the front end.
I mean, that's straight trash, man. I put laughing outside of that. That's straight trash.
But complicating things is the fact that movement leaders stand vehemently against the Justice and Policing Act, which Congress drafted as a response to their protests. They argue that instead of holding officers accountable, the bill, which passed the House in March, actually gives more funds to law enforcement.
No joke. They thought they were going to defund the goddamn police. And they said we need more funds to put these savages in check.
And they got it. Moreover, activists say police de-escalation training, universal body cameras, and data to track use of force, all provisions of the Justice and Policing Act, don't go far enough.
See, this is where the idealism comes in. You have no power.
Yep.
You ain't got no position. You're not at the table. So now you want all of this. You want your goddamn cookies. You want your reindeer goddamn stockings. You want Santa Claus to come visit you. You want Peter Cottontail to come visit you. You want the damn jackal. You want it all. But you ain't gonna get it because you ain't got no damn.
And the thing you need to do to get it, mobilize and organize, you're not willing to do.
Exactly.
The bill, quote, requires that police be the fixers of their own problems, said Carissa Lewis, National Field Director for the Movement for Black Lives. And we know that this just has not been a successful strategy.
What a concept.
Still, the Movement for Black Lives has come out in favor of some national policies that have implications for the work they do on the state level. Activists point to both the For the People Act and John Lewis Voting Rights Act as critical to their work. If passed, the bills would curb a number of the provisions in state laws that limit access to the ballot.
So now they got to pivot because all this foolishness that they've been propagating about the false narrative of police. So now you got to pivot to something that you weren't pushing and some other group was pushing. And so now you got to say, oh, we support that. So we have been successful. We have done something. Look.
Organizers said they were happy to hear Senate Majority Leader say that he would like to pass a major voting rights bill by August, though it's not clear how he would do so without reforming Senate rules, which means it ain't gonna happen.
Ain't gonna happen. So more tokenism, and it's just laughable. Keep on going.
That's it. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's more about home. Let me get back to my screen.
Yeah.
All right. And there are activists who are continuing their work locally. And national platform, they say, was never one of their chief goals. Following an unsuccessful effort to reallocate police funds in Minneapolis last summer, activists there say they're doubling down on their push for more comprehensive public safety plans that give community members more power.
So now look how contradictory that is.
Mm-hmm.
They say they were never pushing for national reform. That's a goddamn lie. So now that all these people thought Minneapolis was going to defund the police, they played theirs like a fiddle. And so again, what does that have to do with the empowerment of our people? Not a goddamn thing.
Nothing.
So today I'd have put several murders on the TV, and so in the course of a year, you may have 100, 200 Negroes to get murdered, but in the same year, you got down 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 Negro on Negro murder. Man, we confused. Keep on going.
We know the history of the failure where we expected police to reform themselves, said D.A. Bullock, a lead organizer with the Minneapolis-based group Reclaim the Block. We know that's not possible. We're looking to a more fundamental change in the way we do public safety.
So yet again, keep on talking. Look, if you take control of your own damn community,
yes, sir,
spiritually, culturally, educationally, economically, socially, and politically, if you do that, you police your damn self.
That's right.
Keep on going.
Nor do they see Derek Chauvin's conviction as the final chapter following last year's organizing against police violence and systemic racism under the umbrella of a racial reckoning. People are still asking this question of, is anything coming? Yes, it's coming. It's happening on the local and state level, said Maurice Mitchell, a national director of the Working Families Party and lead organizer with the Movement for Black Lives. Still, Mitchell added that he and other lead organizers feel they are duty bound to ensure that police reform happens on the federal level. Lord have mercy.
Let's stop right there.
Yeah.
See, when I hear rhetoric like this, it infuriates me.
Yep.
Because in order for any legislation, whether it's at the local, state, federal, or international level, to get done, the money happens with a goddamn vote.
That's right.
And the vote must be a majority vote. And in some instances, it has to be a super majority vote of like 75%. So when you hear somebody says, we're duty bound to ensure that police reform happens on the federal level, that's nothing but gain.
Yep.
That's nothing but gain.
Yep.
So you got the white folks pimping the grassroots people, and these Uncle Tom sellouts who are over the organizations, they're pimping the damn people as well.
And the people are stuck in the middle, never getting any sort of progress, and they're just confused on why things continue to stay the same.
And so since they're confused, now what happens? Because they're ignorant.
They start believing politics don't work. What's the point?
Exactly.
Yep.
So now that's why when people say, well, who are you running against? I'm not running against the candidate in 2022. I got 4 opponents: ignorance,
that's right,
apathy, pessimism, and cynicism. You see, because in their confusion, and they're doing this on purpose to now force the person, the grassroots people, to become idle.
Yep.
And they know what they're doing. And so now, when the people don't vote, what they don't understand, you are voting for the system to remain the way that it is.
That's right. You're not voting is a vote. Yeah. Still, Mitchell added that he and other lead organizers feel they are duty bound to ensure that blah, blah, blah. Mitchell called for Biden to issue more executive orders. He called for Biden to issue more executive orders and make full use of the bully pulpit to pressure Congress to act quickly on criminal justice reform, as discussions around the Justice and Policing Act seem unlikely to conclude in time for Biden's May 25 consensus deadline.
When I read this, I remembered a child in a goddamn department store telling his mama, "Mama, I want this. I want you to do that. I'll do this. Do that." What will your mama ultimately say to your ass?
Well, my mom would curse at me, but she would most certainly tell me to be quiet.
So my mom would say, "Sit your ass there." And she would try to give me that look. When I get to the home, I'm gonna push.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely got that look.
So you gonna tell? Okay, I'll keep on going.
And that whole statement is comical. Mitchell called for Biden to issue more executive orders and make full use to pressure Congress to act quick. You can't make Biden do anything. You have no power. You have no recourse. You yelling and screaming ain't gonna do. It's that whole paragraph is a joke.
And Biden can't make Congress do anything.
Exactly.
Because Congress is made up of different parties primarily. Okay, he don't control the Republicans. He got to tap dance even with the damn Democrats who are afraid themselves. So the Negro just keep on going, man.
Yeah, despite the fact he said, despite the fact of what he said before, black people voted for him to get him in the first place.
Exactly.
Federal legislation, activists argue, should address the root cause of the issue: a system of law enforcement that disproportionately harms communities of color. And that means they'll continue to push for a public safety overhaul and lobby those members of Congress willing to hear them out. We're not interested in easy solutions, and we're not interested in nibbling around the edges, Mitchell said. This is an urgent and real crisis for us.
Bro, this is so retarded.
Yeah.
When did the root cause become a system of law enforcement that disproportionately harms communities? When was that the root cause of that? The root cause, look, people, we got 2 problems. The first one is the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy racism. We can't do anything directly about that. We can indirectly impact it by directly handling our second problem, because our second problem is on us, and that is no empowerment. No empowerment, again, as I define it, is the ability to control your destiny, your YOU working together in OUR, our community. How you gonna do that? Spiritually, culturally, educationally, economically, socially, and politically. When you control your destiny through those 6 pillars, now you take control of your living space. You take control of your city. You take control of your counties, your parishes. Now you can start to indirectly impact the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy. You're never going to eradicate it, because it would take so-called good white folks initiating that war, because this is a war.
Yep.
Okay, this is how this works, and that's the game.
Well, we perfect. It's 10 o'clock on the nose, so that was absolutely on time. Okay, Brother Craig, the last question is, you can only give everyone who's a part of the show tonight one piece of advice, one takeaway from tonight's show. What would that one thing be? Only one thing.
Stop being a goddamn prostitute. learn to empower yourself and stop being a prostitute on so many different damn stuff. But again, this is, you know, I created a term called mendectomy. You know,
Men what?
A mendectomy. We got to go through a mendectomy.
All right.
That's like a craniectomy is when they take out a portion of your brain, your physical part of your computer. The mendectomy is surgery on your damn mind, and your mind is abstract. So the creator got to do a mendectomy on your fucking head and detoxify your mind, because at this stage in the ball game, bro, if you don't elevate, this thing is getting deeper and deeper into technology and whatnot. You'll never figure this out. You'll never figure it out. There's just too many layers.
Yep.
We got it. The one thing is to empower yourself so you can stop being pimped.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because the more you learn about how this whole thing works, the more you can really see how our people are constantly making the same mistake over and over and over again. I sent you and Brother Lloyd a live, I guess, press conference for an event that's about to happen in Tulsa. And some of the things they were saying, it's like, man, it don't work that way.
Yeah.
You're not going to march. You're not going to protest. You're not going to yell and scream. And changes occur. They're talking about trying to get a predominantly white space to give Black people in that space some stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to make them give it back. How you going to do that?
Yeah, bro.
You know, and it, you know, it's not just one person speaking. The people are behind them just amening Black power, and I'm like, no. You know, so it's amazing how confused and how much we don't know.
And if we were there to try to help them understand, they would call us a sellout or Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
And that's why I've had to get quiet to reassess as we move forward in this political campaign that we're launching and what we got to do, man. It's tough, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Well, if I wasn't born this way, I would have probably been just go there out there with a 2 by 6. I mean, I picked it up. I ain't gonna even lie to you.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to, Brother Lloyd and I will be able to have a one-on-one conversation, because the number 2 brother in one of the organizations, he and I were in the shrine together, and he's gonna try and get me some meeting time with the quote unquote general. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. We'll see.
I don't know why you about the most idealistic.
No. Brother Lloyd and I are going to sell books, but while I'm there, I'm certainly gonna talk to some people.
Yeah, okay. Well, now don't something like that if you got it. Because bro, y'all be really trying to.
Anyway, all right, it's Q&A time. Brother Naru has turned his camera on. So, Brother Naru, your question or comment?
Yeah, what's going? Oh well, okay. I'll go comment first, and then question second. So, you know, I always got a ride from my city. You know, Oakland, we be getting things done. We've taken over 2 spaces out here. I know y'all heard about the Barbecue Becky thing that happened out here at the lake a couple years ago. So we took over that whole area and turned it into a black market. Now, granted, might not be selling, you know, the most progressive things out there always, but it is a space we took over. And now we've just taken over space in East Oakland. And it's called a Coma market, which is more progressive, whereas a farmer's market, people selling their wares and things like that.
That's cool.
So I think, you know, more of that can be done all over, where people can just get together, start taking over space. And we're not a predominantly black city, as you would say. We just, when we come hard.
Yeah.
But my question, say that again.
What's the African American population in Oakland?
You know, I'm not exactly sure at this time because they moving out, they moving out left and right with gentrification.
Okay.
I'll get that to you later.
Okay.
I'm gonna look into that. But we do get things done. We have council, people on the council we put in and things like that.
Excellent.
But my question is like, 'cause I saw I know you're always talking about that black people will never run, you know, the national and the state level. So my question is, wouldn't it be better for us to try to find our own space outside of this country or somewhere, or are we going to just be forever stuck here in a fabricated country and never really have a place of our own? You know what I mean? I'm like, I know you're talking about having small areas that we can control, but when can we ever have something of our own? Like, are we just doomed to be here forever and be under the system?
So let's think about this logic. So if the United States and they're the number one terrorists and killers on the planet, when people start talking about leaving the United States to go to some mythical place,
not mythical, but you know, like somewhere where there's some solidarity.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a mythical place. That's mythical because there is no such thing, because the United States has taken out Muammar Gaddafi in his own damn country. The United States has taken out Mubarak in his own damn country.
All this is true.
Taken out Saddam Hussein in his own damn country with a military that had over 1 million troops, and they had money, and they had all of this. We have to stop being idealistic, period. We got to stop it. We got to stop it. The whole concept, which our people started coming out of slavery when they created the 200 plus black townships, we have never built on that. Marcus Garvey did not build on that. And so what has happened, because we never built on that, we've now put ourselves even farther behind. So now let's look at the idealism of Haiti. Okay, let's be like Haiti. What the hell you mean be like Haiti? Okay, Haiti, our ancestors stood up and fought a battle. But Nauru, they lost the war.
True.
So where is this mythical place?
No. I'm not saying that we're gonna follow Haiti's model. But my question is, if we are not, then your answer is we're never gonna have our own. Then we're always gonna be under some regime. We're never gonna be able to rise up and have our own place, our own government. We're always gonna be under the United States or under some other oppressive regime. Is that's what I'm asking?
So the way that we now, when you take over your own space at the local level, Nauru, you're taking over your own country. See, the city can function just like a country. You just aren't running the entire country. But the city, if you think about it from this standpoint, you take over the legislative apparatus, you take over the executive branch with the mayor, you take over the judicial branches of government, all right? You now are controlling all the money and the decisions. You take over
on a small level though. So idealistically, yes, that sounds great. But if you do that and they don't like what you're doing, can't they just come take you out anytime? You just said they could take out whole country. So what's to stop them from coming to take out you in your own city?
That's my point. So you're in a conundrum. What's the point of leaving to now get taken out, which you ain't gonna never, I don't know where you would go, because you gotta understand there are politics in any other place that you're gonna go.
This is true. I understand that, and that's what I'm saying. So pretty much we're never gonna have our own places. I answer that. Is that yes or no?
Follow me again. You didn't let me finish. I'm telling you, you can have your own space if you now take over a city, learn how that works, then you can procreate another city where you now build it yourself because you understand how to run a city. You got to first understand how water works, how sanitary. There's so many things that go into managing a space. Our people we are just stuck on this idealism of wanting to be in charge of something, and we don't even get it. So you gotta first take over something and learn how it works. Because you take over a city and a county or parish, you got your own military now with the sheriff department, the police department, and the marshal department. See, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, because I'm shaking my head because that's idealistic. Because because even if you do that, you're still not as powerful as the federal government or the army or anything. If they want to come make a move on you, that's all I'm saying.
Now, listen, that's not how that works. The federal government is not coming against a damn city. See, you're saying that something can't work. You can take over. The sheriff is an elected position.
Correct.
The marshal is an elected position.
Mm-hmm.
The police chief is an appointed position by the mayor and confirmed by the city council. So you're telling me, like, for example, here in the city of Shreveport, it only takes 19 people being elected to take over $1 billion. It only takes a team of 300 people to take over all of what I just got through saying in terms of leading a good 30 to 40,000 Black folks to now vote for those particular things. Now, the actual unencumbered kind of sort of country that you'll be able to create is in the cloud. But even, I say kind of sort of, because even though you could be 98, maybe 95% in control of that, you're doing it through the apparatus called the internet. So even within that, they still have involvement. I don't get why there's this premise of 100% control. That ain't never gonna happen.
That's all I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. And so did you answer my question? No, that's never gonna happen. That's all I want you to say. No.
But why would that even be a? I guess I'm trying to understand. Why would that even be a question? I'm not getting.
Well, it would be a question because other countries have their people and they run their country. The French have their people. They run their country. They have the English have it. So we come from African people. Shouldn't we be able to run our own country? And that's all I'm saying. Why not?
No, those are two different things. I just told you can run your own city.
No, I get that. I get the city thing, but you're still in the belly of the beast. You're still in the middle of the United States where we're all fighting against all the time, and we're worried about the police killing us. We're worried about us killing ourselves. We're still here. A lot of people are, that's all that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so
we have our own space.
Let me try.
Break down.
Brother Naru, if let's say, for example, what if Oakland was predominantly Black? Right? Let's say if it was 75, 80% Black, what if, right? And you were the mayor, Naru Quina, you were the mayor of Oakland, right?
Yes, sir.
Think about how much power you could have, and city council was. But
we've had that here. We've had a Black mayor. We've had predominantly Black.
Right. You're right. But you had melanated, not Black, two different things. So I'm saying you particularly, you were in control, and your city council thought just like you. You had spirituality, you had right culture, you got those 6 pillars. Would you agree that if that scenario was a reality, that Oakland will be a different kind of city for Black people?
No doubt.
All right. So the police brutality will be different, if any at all, because you will be appointing the sheriff, and the sheriff is hiring the police officers. So because he's coming through you, it's going to be a different kind of relationship with the police and Black people, correct?
No, because most time when you come in, you've already got police who are tenured and already in there, and it's hard to get them out. So you could bring the sheriff in, but you've got people who are already in the system. That's what I'm saying. We're still in this system. Now it might happen over a period of time, but you only mayor for how many years? 8 years. And so, if you hopefully it could expand. But I mean, I'm all for all of that. I'm not against any of that and having strong. I'm just saying, it just feels like we can never have anything of our own. That's where I feel like.
Well, that is the strategy now, Ruth. That would be something of your own. Like Brother Craig says all the time, you can't run from white people. Even in Africa, Africa is ran.
Exactly.
It's not even ran by righteous Africans. It's ran by Africans who think like white people who exploit their own people. So it is a best case scenario, Brother Nauru, for us to control one of 4 geographic land masses. And if we were able to do that, and going back to your point about the police having tenure, whatever the hell, that's where having a system of people. So we know if you can only be in there for 8 years, okay, who we got coming behind you? We got Sister Tara, right? Sister Tara's in there for 8 years. Who we got coming behind her? We got Sister Mary. Sister Mary's in there for 8 years. Who we got coming behind her? By that time, your daughter's ready. So this is not, we're not talking about a one-time political campaign to get Nauru in there. No, we're talking about a system by which we can control geographic space for millennia, because we are the dominant people and our system is so that.
But you've already stated that this military can come and take that at any time. You've already stated that. A country, right? I know.
So what's the difference? What's the difference?
That's what I'm saying. There is no difference. We could build something that's strong, but it could be taken away at any time.
And so can the country. So what I'm asking, why would you leave a space where it is easier to now take over? That's logical to take over where you're at, to now go somewhere where you now got to learn different language. I don't think you are.
No. I'm not saying everybody, but some people, I know folks who have moved over there and they're living beautiful lives, and no, they're not running the system, listen to what I'm saying. They feel happier there. Let me finish. They don't feel as much racism. They don't feel attacked all the time. And I'm talking about progressive people that I know. So that's the only reason I'm bringing this up, because we're here. We're in the middle of all this. So we're bombarded by it on a daily basis. We've been here so long. We think it's fucking normal, but it's not. It's not normal to live like this.
Now I can show you reports of Negroes in Africa right now who are being discriminated about goddamn Africa.
Oh no, they are, of course. Everywhere. It's everywhere.
We gotta stop with all this idealism, man. You got Hutus and Tutsis killing goddamn each other.
No doubt.
You got fratricide going on throughout the entire deal. There is no utopia that you're going to run to.
No, there's not. I agree with that.
There's no utopia. My premise is real simple. We can take over landmass here, create import-export with African countries, Caribbean countries. Now you start to leverage yourself where now you can create land over there, so now you can make some things actually happen. That's the whole point. But you can't just pick up and go to Africa or the Caribbean because they have politics there themselves, and 90%, about 95% of all those countries are controlled by white folks. Basically, all those countries are controlled by white folks. Joseph Malema in South Africa, and Willie Brown wasn't no damn black mayor. He was a melanated.
Willie Brown was not my mayor. Now he's from San Francisco.
Tell him now, Ruth.
I was in San Francisco.
Get it right, Craig.
So what Negro y'all had in Oakland?
Well, the last one was Ron Dellums, but he wasn't that good.
But no goddamn white person. Still a Negro too. But my point is, until grassroots people, and this ain't never happened in world history, grassroots people start to take over their land masses wherever they're at. And that don't exist in Africa, the Caribbean, or the United States. But we can now start to have clout. Because let me tell you something. We take over a few cities here in the United States, Nauru, Ghana, Nigeria, they would be willing to now put money into these cities. So now you got clout going back to Africa. There's a transitional process that can actually happen, but it's not idealistic by any stretch of the imagination. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and we also have to remember, Nauru, that America is becoming more brown and black every day. So white people won't always be the majority. We know that. And if we know that day is coming, then at some point we're either going to be number 2 or number 1. But if we never learn how to govern, we're always going to be somebody's nigga. And what we're saying is we have to learn how to run cities so that when our leadership, when our children, when our offspring is running a municipality, the things that are destroying black people won't be the case because a different kind of melanated black person is running that space. And we're not talking about one space, we're talking about hundreds of them that we are running under the same umbrella, but the same philosophy, the same system, the same spirituality, all of that being the same.
But still as United States citizens, still with social security numbers, still banking in most of the white banks and things of that nature, and still being in a country that has enemies that we can't stop from attacking us. So, you know, it's like, I get that it's everywhere, but I'm just saying, I feel it's not going to be any better here than anywhere else is what I'm saying. I don't feel like it's going to be any better here than going anywhere else.
You're telling me if grassroots people took over a space and they were doing import-export with Africa, the Caribbean, and they have some of their own financial institutions, they're doing their own thing. You're telling me that ain't gonna be no better than what we're already doing?
No, I said it's not better than anywhere else. We can do that.
But that would be better. That would be infinitely
financially.
That would be better across the board. I just asked you if you were running Oakland and you had the right support, wouldn't Oakland be different? You said yes. That's the answer. That's the answer.
Yeah, it definitely will be different, but
that's
it's
the
not
answer.
Okay.
You're looking for perfection, and that ain't never gonna. Perfection. There is no utopia.
No, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm, just a place of our own. That's all I said. A place of our own. Can we ever have place? And it sounds like from what you're saying, we're not. We're never ever again going to have a place of our own. We're always going to have to be under some other system that's controlling. Like, I don't want to believe that white people are going to be on top forever. I don't want to believe. I don't believe they're supreme.
We're going to be on top.
We're not saying that. We're not saying that, and we don't believe that.
I damn sure don't believe white folks gonna be on top. Yeah. But I know if we keep on with this idealism of trying to find a utopia without doing work to take over your own space in order to learn how to manage or create your own space within that overall dynamic, it ain't never gonna happen. Because even the damn thing that Akon is talking about doing. So you probably would think, oh, that's Akon's own country. No, the fuck it ain't.
No, I don't believe that.
The Chinese are funding the goddamn deal. I mean, we gotta stop playing with this, man. Look, man, there's a game that we can get into and maneuver, but we got to stop with the idealism and deal with reality so that we can now learn certain things. So that now, if there is a country, which I wouldn't know what that would goddamn be in Africa, because now you got infrastructure, you got a whole bunch of different things you have to be concerned about. My biggest thing over there would be partnershiping with people who are from a particular country that we could gain leverage in. And for those people who want to go over, and now we can, quote unquote, take control of that country politically, we got resources here being funneled over there to do so. But it's not just going to be just picking up here and
no. But it is happening now. I mean, that's happening. That's happening. Not in a whole country, but that's happening in spaces over there for sure.
Yeah, but they're not controlling nothing, man. It's like our partner Peter Brown. He over there. He said something about. Tamani, did you see Peter's so-called resort?
No, I hadn't watched this stuff in a minute.
He didn't got no damn floor in the damn place.
And now, Ru, if you would agree, which I think you did, that America is, white people will not always be the majority.
No, yeah.
So if that is an inevitable reality, why can't America be our own space?
Because I don't think they're going to go out and allow that to happen. I think they kill us all first before they gave this country up. That's how I feel.
Well, if you know, I most certainly believe, brother, as Brother Craig says all the time, this is a multi-dimensional reality and war. So there's going to be bloodshed.
Yes, okay.
You know, so if we know that's, and we probably won't be around when that happens. Hell, your daughter might be our age, and maybe her kids. So it's going to be a while before that happens. But if we know that is coming, then we can prepare for it and may the best man win. Then we go from there.
Respect due on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So does anybody else have a question or comment? No doubt.
I had a quick question, but
come on, Ken.
Eliminate that. I'm gonna just try to come on the tail of what you all were saying. That's why I pointed back to Reconstruction, Brother Naru. At the most dangerous time ever in American history, we created our own.
That's right.
See, and if we need to learn, that's why we do all this studying about what happened in the past. So we don't allow the okie doke. See, if we can gain that leverage of these towns and these cities and this, that, and the other, and capture even the imagination of the Negro that refuses to see the light because they don't, that money status materialism, they say, oh, these Negroes doing something over here, but it'd be Black people doing something over there, if you feel me, okay? Then you get that following that you need. Then you can amass what you need to literally defend yourself. And because once you create the model, then it kind of grows from there. And then other people want to do it. The other people want to do it. Just like you see people doing fashion and all this other entertaining stuff that Negroes love to follow, you know, the greater of the Blacks doing. You know, all this stuff that we created, we are the creators, man. You can't get away from us, you know, okay? No matter how much they try, they done tried all kinds of stuff to exterminate us. It won't happen like that. So what happens? We create our own space right here, show it, and then you'll get the following. And then from that local level, you can begin, okay, as you amass these cities in that local following, just like if they did it during Reconstruction now. Look at that era. Very dangerous, very powerful, a lot of stuff, but only through a systematic way where they're able to come back and take that out. See, they didn't come with a full force and just nuke it out. They systematically stole that. And we know how they did it. So if now we have these politicians in right places, you know, who are affiliated with us, the real us, then those laws and those okie dokes of sacrificing for a presidential campaign and all that to pull the troops out, that won't happen. We have to, by knowing the past, we can prevent it from happening again.
Exactly.
That's the key. That's why we do all those film discussions, all of that stuff, what happened to Malcolm, all of that. What's the use of looking at all that if we're not learning from it? Yeah. See? So if we know what mistakes we made, we can go back and build these black townships again, using the resources that our people created. Just fill those spaces in those political, powerful spaces. Just like you could end up being a mayor before you die. You feel me? So with that, and you surround yourself with the like-minded people, following the 6 pillars, okay? Eliminate the fools that don't want to follow, because that's what we failed to do in the past. See? So with that, it can be done, man, but it's gonna be a slow process, and they're not gonna nuke inside of their own time.
Exactly.
No, that's not. And it's so funny.
That's the key to it right there.
And
Okay,
Ken, it's so interesting that you bring that up. So now we're gonna give you one, because there are about 30 of them that were never eliminated. It's about 30, 35 that still exist. So I'm gonna give you one, and it's Langston, Oklahoma. That's where Langston University is at. Okay, and they are in the Oklahoma City area. So it's like heading west of Tulsa. Check this out. Their population as of 2010, get this, Tamani, was only 1,724. And they got an HBCU. So let me just read this little section. Langston was founded on April 22nd, 1890 by Edward T. Maccabee, an African-American political figure from Kansas. Maccabee helped lead a migration of Black settlers from Southern United States who hoped to escape discrimination by creating a majority Black state in what was then the territory of Oklahoma. He named the town for John Mercer Langston, a member of the 51st United States Congress from Virginia. Maccabee used traveling salesmen and African-American newspapers to advertise lots for sale in Langston. And the deeds which accompanied the sale of these lots stipulated that their resale could only be to other African-Americans. Not rude. You must embrace the cultural reality of what we've done. And so you don't leave that legacy. You don't abandon that. You build on that. They brought a university to that town. Now, how in the hell have they done all of this from 1864 to 1944, and we ain't did a goddamn thing from 1944 to 2021? But talk about leaving. Was it more dangerous in 1890, or is it more dangerous in 2021?
Oh, definitely more dangerous then, without a doubt.
It's more dangerous then. But this is just a small little place. Okay, check this out now. Check this out. They got some crackers who live in Langston. 3.29%, 93.29% African, 1.26% Native Americans, and 0.24% from other races, and 1.92% from 2 other races, and Hispanic Latino made up 1.32%. This is a Black controlled place. Shreveport is right at 60% African American. And so Langston is just one of the few towns that still exist. People talk about Greenwood. Greenwood was never a town. It was a neighborhood in Tulsa. But needless to say, the majority of these Black townships, they didn't get bombed and firebombed. Some of them did. The majority of them got destroyed when Negroes left. That's just a fact. Negroes abandoned the places, and I know why they did it, because of the opportunities for jobs on the West Coast, in the Midwest, on the East Coast. I get it, but you don't just abandon all your damn land, and that's what a lot of these Negroes actually did. But now the Great Migration, you know, is coming back. Tone Loc just performed here this past Saturday, Naru. Guess where he's from?
L.A.
Shreveport.
Oh, is he? I thought he was from L.A.
Yeah, he was born there. His goddamn granddaddy right here.
Okay.
Right there. So they were part of the Great Migration, you know, to the West Coast. And so there's a connection that we can establish by taking over these spaces and then partnershiping with African countries. So let's say we're making a couple of $1 billion a year, and there's an African country that's you know, takeable, but we build a relationship with them. We can now insert ourselves and now take that space and partnership and bring, that's how we can do it physically. Now, we going to handle our business. We may find a goddamn island that we establish our own country on, okay? But in order to run that, we got to first learn how to do it stateside, so we're not just shooting ourselves in the damn foot, and we got some connections with people who can do water and sewage. Like one of the biggest issues, a dude just came here this week from California. He wants to do recycling. One of the biggest issues that you got to handle in your own town is goddamn sanitation and recycling.
No doubt.
That's a serious issue. Water and sewer, serious issue. Street and drainage, serious issue. Water supply, serious issue. But our people be so, oh, we got to get some guns. We got to get some guns. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Goddamn gun? Like, if they cut off your damn water supply, they cut off your damn gas, your electricity, what the hell is a gun going to help you do?
Yeah.
You ain't making
You gotta have food too. You gotta grow your own food too, bro.
You ain't making no damn ammunition.
Mm-hmm.
We get too caught up in the emotionalism of this stuff. But what I'm saying to you is, I'm just going back to rebuild on what our people were already doing. And I'm looking at here, man, you got towns like Bowley, Brooksville, Clearview, Grayson, Lima, Redbird, Rennersville, Summit, Taft.
Maybe we ought to just go there then if they already got the structure set up with black people running.
Brother, that's the plan.
Let's go there.
The plan is to connect with those people on a grassroots level and show them how to take political power. So let me say these two things and I'm gonna close it out. Brother Naru, why do you think, how do you think the Chinese were able to get Joe Biden to pass that Asian hate crime bill so rapidly?
Well, there's a whole lot of reasons, but
give me your top two or three.
Well, first of all, I feel like, you know, they're trying to get the Asian vote now outside of the black vote, so they're appeasing the Asian community.
Sure, politics,
yeah. So that's one of the things, and yes, they have money and pressure.
Yeah, there you go.
Money, so you know, that's one of the things, and it looks good for them, you know, you know, on media there, it looks good to do that. You know, it looks like they're doing something because Trump was so negative against the Asian people. Now it makes Biden look like a savior.
Right.
Exactly.
So what Brother Craig is talking about is that when we start to make the kind of $1 billion business moves we're planning to make before we leave this earth on a physical level, we'll be able to not only have that political clout, but also the economic clout. That's the first thing. Second thing, people make political decisions, right or wrong, to do whatever. So if we know that we have a political enemy who is threatening to do whatever, and we are prepared to let him know or her know, if you do this thing, 4 of your members are going to cease to breathe oxygen. They decide, you're going to mess with us or you're going to lose your family members. We got to understand, man, that this is a war. You know, the ninjas were created because of the samurai. And because the ninja acted, the samurai stopped antagonizing and bullying people. We got to understand that we're born into a war, and if we're going to win, we got to take our game to another level. Period.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And those two things working together, you know, America don't belong to white people. It don't.
Yep.
No, don't.
Yeah. And if we know it don't belong to them and we're going to be the majority, if we just keep doing the nasty, it'll be all right. All right. With that, it's 10:40. Thank you guys very much, Brother Craig. You got any closing comments?
Thank everybody for participating. Y'all have a great weekend.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging in there. Always remember two things. No one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And absolutely, always remember that nothing is more sacred than the empowerment and freedom of Black people. You guys have a wonderful evening. God bless. Thank you very much. Nauru, stay cool. Peace, brother.
Hey.